have to just say, yeah, we're going to have to hire 2 or 3 people to increase that workload. So I don't know. I think we're going to have to get there, which we're going to be there very soon. June, if I'm not mistaken, is what I've last heard. So we're going to be there very soon. So this one here, whoever is elected for 4 more years as sheriff is going to have 6 months roughly from the time they know they're elected till or re-elected till the time with the dispatch center in place. They're going to already know whether that is in place, because 6 months is going to be enough growing pains, especially with the summer and how busy the workload is during the summer, to find out what we need to do to increase that to make a more efficient job for the folks up front.
Along those same lines, with dispatchers and law enforcement officers no longer having a common supervisor with the advent of the 911 center, as sheriff, what steps would you implement to ensure continued harmony between the dispatchers and law enforcement officers?
Thank you. Obviously, if you follow the chain and the line as far as if you have a complaint, you go up your chain of command, and then that's supposed to go over and then go down the chain of command. Now being in a separate entity, in a separate building, we're going to have to follow that structure much closer. You know, it used to be when you had a problem, you would go meet with the dispatcher directly and you would try and solve the problem one-on-one. And hopefully we can still do that to an extent. You know, obviously when you separate offices, you also separate some of that bonding and some of that relationship. And that's a sad, unfortunate thing. We're going to lose some of that sense of community with our office. I mean, we're all working this together to make a safer environment and a safer community for all of us. And I know that that's what they want, and they want us to be safe out there and being safe for you guys. We're going to have to really work hard, both of us, both entities, to keep that sense of community going and keep the tensions down. You know, and it's, as far as the harmony is concerned, I really think that if you set the tone in your office that these folks, they're still a part of our lives. They're not just a total separate thing, even though they're in a separate building and they're controlled by a separate entity. You know, they're still part of us, and we need to remember that.
Dave, thanks for the question, and it's a common question anytime there's consolidation of anything anywhere, but specifically dispatch. We aren't the first agency or the first county or the first area that has gone through 911 consolidation. It's been done virtually in every other major county in the state of Montana already. It was done in Missoula a long time ago. It's a frequent concern of all the agencies dispatched that have their own little dispatch entities of how are we going to be represented, how are we going to, it's a concern of fire services, it's a concern of EMS, it's a concern of the city police departments, and it's a concern of the sheriff's office. They feel that their own little group has been taken away. We aren't reinventing the wheel, and we don't need to reinvent the wheel here. The system of consolidation, especially as it relates to dispatch services, truly does work, and it's worked very well elsewhere. It provides better services to the citizens, it's a single point, and it actually tends to integrate things much better. Law enforcement, EMS, fire. So, that being said, there is an interlocal agreement in place currently that places the sheriff on the administrative board of that 911 center, as well as representatives from the various other groups, fire, EMS, and other, the cities as well. So should there be an issue that can't be resolved, I think it's important to keep representatives from all those agencies to provide input and to keep things functioning on a straight course in an integrated fashion.
If issues regarding security, such as equipment problems, training issues, lack of equipment, were addressed through the chain of command with no resolution, if elected sheriff, how do you think the problem could be brought to your attention without fair retribution from the middle management?
The middle management retribution question. Sure. Again, there's a lot of people here from the general public, and I think it's important that when we're talking about an organization, It doesn't necessarily have to be specific to law enforcement. It's true of any business anywhere. For those of you who are business owners or managers, you're only as good as the people beneath you and the people that are carrying out the policies and the functions that you want them to do. So I think it's important that you choose people for any sort of administrative, all the way down to middle management positions that are in tune with the philosophy of whatever your business is, in this case, law enforcement. If you have someone who in that chain is failing to do what you want them to do, then you need to deal with that person, that individual issue and that individual person. Not just make broad sweeping gestures and issues. You just need to make sure that the people who work for you in middle management are carrying out the wishes of your organization. And there should never be retaliation. If someone is unhappy with their immediate supervisor, they should always feel the ability to go over their head. As undersheriff, one of the things that I was very careful about, and Jim's here tonight and he can vouch for this, we used to always say, you know, you're welcome to come in and talk to me. And as the administrator of an organization, if you're the rookie guy, you should be able to come in and talk to me. It's shame on me if I don't listen to you. But more importantly, it's shame on me if I just wave my magic wand and change the decision of the middle management. I should be able to listen and say, you know what, I'll get back to you. And then I should go to that middle manager and say, hey Bob, what's the deal with this situation? And do you think we can handle it differently? Rather than just changing his decision, I should be able to listen, go back, and follow up that way. Sorry, I hope that wasn't more than 2 minutes.
It was worth it.
Middle management, right now that means me, a sergeant. You know, often what I find is either administration will have an order that'll come down that's really unpopular with the guys, or there's something that the guys need that I have to bring up the ladder that administration is not willing to listen to, is not willing to grant. So you're in that middle, you're that vent, you're that cushion, that's the filter, as it's often been called. And you're filtering from up above, and you're filtering from down below, and you're trying to make peace and harmony with everyone else. You're the backbone of the organization. Without solid sergeants, without solid middle management, you have nothing. So your administration will be strong. If you don't have solid middle management, it's not going to work. You know, remembering back, working for the gentleman before, they did have an open door policy, and that was very much appreciated. Although I remember hearing the word no a lot, but that's beside the point. You know, the point is I could go in and at least he could tell me that, but we could do it face to face. And I really appreciated that. That's something that we can't really do right now. And that's something that I will, if elected sheriff, change. It will have an open door policy. You're still going to have to go through the line of command, chain of command, excuse me. But if you have that open door and you know that you can go up that one more step, if things aren't working out, you have that availability. It's going to make you feel better. It's going to make you feel stronger about your organization, and you know that that accountability is there. And it isn't, the buck isn't just going to stop right here with this person, and your voice is not going to be heard all the way to the top. And it needs to be. We're still in a small enough organization that that can take place, and it's really easy to do. But again, it takes a strong leader and that strong person to set the tone to let your middle management know that.
Just briefly back to dispatch for a minute. Sheriff's deputies believe the Sheriff's Department dispatchers set the standard for excellence in the work they do. I know we complain sometimes, but that's just because they have us spoiled. Their current job description and actual performance is essentially the same as it will be in the new 911 center. In fact, they'll probably work a little harder up there. Our dispatchers are the key to all emergency services provided to the public. We believe the same public which approved the building of the 911 center would support moving our dispatchers into that building without reducing their hourly wage or benefit package. The 911 board has been attempting to reduce our dispatchers' wages and benefits. Would you advocate for your dispatchers?
Well, to answer that simply, yes, I would. You know, I realize that as sheriff you have to work for the taxpayer who is your boss. But again, it's also being able to understand, we work with the dispatch